Hello everybody, it's Margo here and today we are in Milan. We are about to show you how to turn foley sounds into a drum loop using FL Studio Fruity Slicer. But first, let's go record some sounds. To get started, I will use the stink and noise we've just recorded. As you can hear, this sound has a lot of transients, therefore it's a good candidate to get some sounds from. There are now two ways you can get started. You can isolate the part of the sample that contains the most useful stuff, and then consolidate it to a new audio file. You can open up the sample, right-click on the waveform, click on Open in New Fruity Slicer channel. FL Studio will open up a Fruity Slicer instance for you, which is going to automatically detect all the transients and it's going to divide it into multiple regions. You can click on this cutter symbol up here to navigate through different auto-slicing algorithms. This algorithm will determine the precision with which Fruity Slicer will chop up your sample. However, this is not my favorite way to do it. What I personally like to do is to open up the sample in Edison and manually go through it, create my own regions. In order to do it, you can highlight the part of the sample that you want, then right-click on this symbol up here. Or now go ahead and create as many regions as I can. Although this process is long and can feel tedious, it's a way to be more precise as well as to connect with your sample, storing ideas along the way. This kind of hands-on approach allows me to be more familiar with the material that I'm working with. Now that I'm done, I will drag it inside the playlist. Now we can go ahead and open that up on Fruity Slicer. Now the chops that you can see here are the regions that we created in Edison. Next, I'm gonna just use the piano roll to create a groove. By the way, I'm using Fruity Slicer because it's very straightforward and it's the tool that I use the most to generate ideas, chop up sample, to come up with cool rhythms and grooves. But everything that I'm gonna show you today is applicable to any other VST sampler. This is the weird percussion groove that I ended up creating. So I believe there is still space for another layer. So I wanna use this other water recording that we did to create a second groove. Since the transient in this recording are not as pronounced as the one in the previous one, I'm using the transient shaper to crank up the attack and to lower the release. That's how it sounds now. I will now consolidate the audio file, and this time I will let Fruity Slicer detect the transients for me. Yeah, let's now make a second loop. After moving and pitching stuff around, that's my final groove. I will now go ahead and process it with some effect. First effect I applied is an EQ to get rid of the low end. I then used Maximus to split the sound in two bands, and I put the low end in mono and I increased the stereo separation on the high end. I then applied some compression with Fruity Limiter. I used half time at 50% and that's gonna add a very deep layer to what I've got already. OTT to enhance the characteristics of the sound. Additional compression with Goodar's Wolf compressor. Catch cassette for saturation. I then created a reverb sand using a Fruity Combover. Since I felt like I was missing a little bit of low end, I routed everything to another channel. I added off time, this time 100%, kilohertz transgate to introduce a new rhythm, Fruity Blood Overdrive, a weird ass EQ, Soundtoys Filter Freak to get my sound moving a little bit, and a final delay. And that's how my groove sounds now. To test out the groove we just made, I grabbed a bunch of our sounds and made a quick beat. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope it was insightful and that you enjoyed the process. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe to our channel and to leave a comment. For the occasion, we've put together a free pack that you can find by following the link in the description. It includes some of the sounds you heard in the video, along with 18 texture grooves you can use in your productions. Once again, it's free and now available on our website. And with that being said, I will see you the next time. Ciao.